Meet Molly and Henry, two people who rely on the Charitable Food Network in the U.S. Molly and her husband both work part-time and have 3 children. They don't earn enough to pay their rising rent and other bills, but make too much for SNAP or food stamp benefits. To fill the gap, Molly goes to the local food pantry, where she often spends an hour waiting in line to receive a pre-packed box with dried milk, packaged macaroni and cheese, canned fruits, vegetables, and beef stew, breakfast cereal, pasta sauce, and fresh potatoes. On the way out, she grabs some day-old bread, cakes, cookies, and soda from the free table. She knows these items provide her family with little nutritional value, but she's grateful that they won't go hungry. Henry, a widower, is 75 and lives alone in a small apartment. He has diabetes and high blood pressure. He gets a small amount of SNAP benefits every month, but not enough to afford the foods his doctor recommends for his special diet. Henry recently learned about a food pantry at his church. On his first visit, he sampled some broccoli stir-fry, was given recipe cards, and escorted through the pantry by a volunteer. Foods from different food groups were labeled and separated by shelf. He was instructed to choose 1 or 2 items of his choice from each shelf, plus fresh produce and milk from a refrigerator. This week, he filled his box with fresh broccoli, canned carrots, canned peaches and natural juices, brown rice, canned black beans, fresh low-fat milk, yogurt, cheese, canned chicken chunks, rolled oats, pasta sauce, and a bag of apples. Notice Henry's box has primarily healthful foods. Although federal nutrition programs such as SNAP or food stamps provide food to nearly 50 million people each year, there are still many low-income families and individuals who fall through the cracks. The National Network of Food Banks helps them fill the gaps. Most food banks are part of the Feeding America Network, which solicits large-scale food donations and provides operational guidelines to its members. These guidelines include a nutrition framework to guide food procurement decisions. Feeding America also raises funds and advocates for improvements in anti-hunger public policy. Much of the food in the Charitable Food Network is provided by donations from corporations, retailers, farmers, local food businesses, and individuals, and supplemented with federal food distribution programs. In addition, some food is purchased by the food bank itself. 200 regional food banks acquire and distribute this food to about 46,000 local pantries, soup kitchens, and other affiliated local agencies, who then provide free food and meals to families and individuals like Molly and Henry. These pantries represent the opposite ends of the spectrum of facilities. Some are small church multi-purpose rooms with just a few light shelving units, whereas others are larger facilities with entire rooms of storage, not to mention refrigeration and freezer space. While many run entirely on volunteer efforts, others are able to employ full-time employees and may even have a nutritionist on staff. Regardless of their storage or staffing capabilities, most pantry operating hours vary, and many may not be open or accessible to clients after work hours. Let's turn to why the public health community is concerned about the nutrition quality of charitable foods. Across the nation, the prevalence of diabetes, as well as overweight and obesity rates, are at all-time highs, and are most striking in the low-income population of Americans, many of whom depend on charitable food. Increasingly, national, state, and local policies are being enacted to mandate or encourage food providers, such as schools, work sites, and corner stores, to provide more nutritious foods to make healthy eating an easier choice for consumers. Food banks are also joining these efforts to promote public health in their own communities. How can food banks and food pantries meet health and nutrition standards when they are heavily reliant on donations and have limited infrastructure for handling perishable, fresh foods? A growing number of food banks are innovating the way they obtain and distribute food. Some are developing their own policies to improve the nutritional quality of their inventory, using Feeding America's framework, Foods to Encourage. They seek new donors and train their staff. They even move distribution sites closer to where clients and their families are every day. For example, food bank staff and volunteers prepare backpacks that school students can take home for the weekend. They minimize transportation and storage problems by establishing farmers market-style food distribution at community sites where clients select fresh fruits and vegetables. This allows them to distribute large volumes of perishable foods before they spoil. If more food banks make a commitment to distribute foods of higher nutritional quality, adopt these kinds of new practices, and adapt them to serve their local communities, they support opportunities for more people like Henry and Molly to make healthy dietary choices. In doing so, we can help low-income families and individuals not only eat, but thrive.